Hey everybody. Today I wanted to share with you the answer to a question I got in a coding interview. And this may seem a little bit basic if you've been coding in JavaScript for a while, but I actually got this recently on an interview for a senior software engineer. So I think it's relevant. And the question was, explain the difference between let and var. So let and var are two ways to declare a variable in JavaScript. The original way when JavaScript first came out was just to use var for everything, okay, or var sometimes. I've heard it pronounced either way. And then there was an upgrade to JavaScript, and they introduced let. Okay, so let's talk about the difference. I have a definition up here, and to summarize, basically let is block scoped and var is not. Now, what I mean by that is illustrated here by these two examples. So the first example uses let inside of an if statement. So this is a block, right, inside of these brackets. We define it inside of the block. So we say let x equal 5. Then we console log x and we get 5. But if we step outside of the block of code here on line 7, we can see when we console log x, we get a reference error. It says x is not defined. Now, alternatively, we can do the same thing inside of another block, another if statement, and we can say var y equals 5. Again, we can console log inside of the block and we get 5. But when we go down to line 13, we step outside of that block and we console log. This time it works and we actually get 5. Okay. So block scoped means that the variable is only accessible inside the block of code in which it was defined, in which it was declared. But non-block scoped, right, we had in the second example, means once you declare it, you can access it anywhere in your code. Okay? That's basically the main difference. Other than that, these two ways to declare a variable act exactly the same. Now, in general, I will always use let. It gives me more control and it makes sure that I won't accidentally be overwriting variables, right, elsewhere in my code. So you could see an example where maybe I'm declaring a variable here, and then later on inside of another block of code, I, let's say, try to declare the variable, right, which won't work, or maybe I overwrite the variable, which may mess up something somewhere else in my code. But if I'm using let, I can be confident that in this case, x is going to be equal to 5 only within this block. And then I can go about the rest of my coding not having to worry about the fact that I've already assigned x to equal 5, because that only really exists inside this block. Now, there's one other way to declare a variable in JavaScript, and that's const. I'll make another video about that. I didn't really want to confuse things for this one. So hopefully now, especially if you're just starting out with JavaScript, it's a little bit more clear when to use let or when to use var. You can basically just be safe by using let whenever you want, unless there's some very specific reason why you might want to use var. But those cases are pretty rare. So hopefully this helped you out in understanding this aspect of JavaScript. And if you have any questions, let me know in the comments or reach out to me on social media, pretty much on everything. And my DMs are open. And let me know what other questions you have. I'm going over the questions that I've actually heard before. But if you all have some questions that you're just not sure about, I'd be happy to make a video about them. And I hope this helped. Have a great day.